having an attorney or lawyer, right, on your money team. That's, well, wait a minute, they're not making me any money. Lawyers cost money. Everybody, when I say that word lawyer, it's almost like I said the IRS, right? But it's one of those that, attorneys play a critical role in all this too, right?
But I definitely am learning as I grow my business, the importance of having an attorney in your corner that you can ask questions to and get advice on. And like, if you want to grow something big, kind of going back to that vision piece, right? Like, set yourself up in the beginning for the big vision you have in the future. I'm now looking at hiring an IP attorney, so intellectual property for trademarking and copywriting and things like that, to protect my intellectual property. That can be stolen. That's honestly most of what I put out there is my IP, right? And so an attorney, just a business attorney, to be able to ask business advice. Right now I'm talking to somebody about co-owning a business, and we have an attorney drafting up papers, right? So there's so many different times that you need an attorney in business. So having one as a point of contact, I think, but then I know you have some advice on where people can go to start.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, obviously as a new entrepreneur, budgets are tight, right? Because you've got minimal income, and whenever you're starting a business, it's always, you're spending a lot of money. But, this isn't something, on all of these, you don't want to cut corners on. Even if you're just having initial conversations of, okay, I'm not ready to do anything yet. I'm literally at step 1, but I want to know and make sure that I'm headed in the right direction to meet you at step 5, Mr. Tax Preparer or whatever, to make sure we're headed down that direction. And, more than likely, they're going to help you and give you that advice and things like that. So, with an attorney, you've got to have that same kind of deal. So if you're in a smaller town, maybe somebody went to school with somebody. What you don't want to do is, just because somebody's an attorney doesn't mean they know everything about all law. Okay, like Wendy said, you got estate attorneys, you got divorce attorneys, you got family attorneys, all kinds of different attorneys, criminal attorneys, and things like that. But you want to find somebody who's a business attorney, and just connect with them, through social media or whatever. But that's a great way to get some, at least have access for a cheap monthly fee or inexpensive monthly fee, because the services are good. I'm actually a client of one of them, and I've been for years, and it was a great way to start out. And I just held on to it because every once in a while I'll pick up the phone and say, hey, what about this? Oh, okay. And that's where you get that little bit of legal advice, right? And like Wendy said, if you're doing something where you've got IP or trademarks, things like that, like Black Swan, we trademarked that when we started, just to make sure that you protect that IP and you protect your assets. Because if you're not selling tangible products, people will come and glom on and try to take your stuff, right? I see it all the time on the internet, right? So that's something that, you want to be aware of. And it's a key part of your team. Is it going to make you money right out of the gate? No, but it's going to protect the assets that you have created, right? Yes. Last thing you want to bring it in and build it, and then it's going right out the back door because it's, you don't have that your 6 protected, right? But it's one of those that you've got to have that as part of your team. So those are the 4 that you really need to start with, your kind of your cornerstones. And then lastly is that attorney piece, right? Those are the 4.